All right, today I'm going to go over Firestarter 4. So it's pretty simple. Remember, we're using the factoring GPS. So that's when you're going to use start at the top and work your way down. I'm going to picture that up real quick. So remember, with the factoring GPS, we are going to solve it because we have this equal sign right here. It is already equal to 0, so this step 1 is done for us. That means we get to use the GPS. So that means we always start by looking for something in common. That means I'm going to try and see if all 3 pieces are divisible by the same thing. The answer to that is no, because they don't all share a letter. Not all of them are divisible by the same number. So then I count the number of terms. 1, 2, 3 terms. So I follow these steps right here. Step 1, I write the factors of the first term. So I say, how do I get 2x squared? Remember, it's going to be 2x in x. Step 2, factors of the last term. How do I get 3? Well, 1 and 3. Now, I know it's going to be negative and negative because it's a positive 3, but we have a negative middle term. If you don't get that, that's no big deal, because if at the end it doesn't work out, you just switch both signs, it will work out anyhow. So now I'm going to guess. I'm going to say 2x in one set of parentheses, x in the next set of parentheses. I'm going to try minus 1, minus 3. Now to see if this works, I have to do the outside. Because remember, beforehand, if this number right here is 1, I just add them up. Negative 1 plus negative 3 is negative 4. That's how I know if it works or not. It doesn't work like that right now because this number is bigger than 1. So that's where I go into this, where I actually have to do the outside. So the outside, 2x times minus 3 is minus 6x. Then the inside, you could do all of FOIL if you want, but I'm just doing the outside and inside. So I get minus 7x. That's what I want. So it's good. All right. Now remember, it is equal to 0. So we factored it. So if I'm following my steps, I did the factoring part. Now I have to set each parentheses equal to 0 and solve. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set this set of parentheses equal to 0. So I'm going to say 2x minus 1 equals 0. And I'm going to set this parentheses equal to 0. So now I solve, I add 1 to both sides. I get 2x equals 1. I divide by 2 on both sides. I get x equals 1/2. That's my first answer. So I have math. All right. I didn't try to trick you on this chart. I wanted this chart to just have the 4 options. So if you did not get those 4 options, you know you made a mistake somewhere. Add 3 to both sides. We end up with x equals 3. All right. That is I. So now, all right, I do the exact same thing for number 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is how do I get I'm going to notice start equal to 0. I say, how do I get 3x squared? Well, 3x and x. How do I get negative 3? Well, negative 1 and positive 3. I could also have positive 1 and negative 3. I might switch it later. We'll find out. And then I'm just going to build my parentheses. So I'm going to say I could have 3x in x. I could have negative 1 and positive 3. Remember, it is equal to 0. Now, I actually have to check and see if this works. So I'm going to do the inside and the outside. So I'm going to do the outside. 3x times 3 is 9x. The keyword is new year. The keyword is new year. And then I'm going to do the inside. Together that gives me 8x. That's what I want. So this is the right setup. So now I'm going to set each parentheses equal to 0. So I set this parentheses equal to 0. I say 3x minus 1 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. I'm going to solve both of them. I add 1 to both sides. I get 3x equals 1. I divide by 3, x equals 1/3. Minus 3 from both sides, x equals -3. Done. All right. So there's my -3, and there's my 1/3. So this message was not really encrypted today because I didn't really hide it. And this is why you need the extra words on your chart, because if you don't have the extra words on your chart, they have your message without doing any work. Notice, guys, you do have to have at least one fraction, because that's what makes this number bigger than 1, because one of your 4 problems has to be bigger than 1. I had a couple questions about what you do your work on. If you didn't get a hard copy, any paper is fine with me. As long as it's legible, it's fine. All right. You're going to submit your work. Your next Firestarter is actually going to be checking your own work. So you have to check your own work. You have to make sure there are 0 errors in there. If you make a mistake in here, this makes my life extremely difficult when I go to grade it. So you have to submit your work this week. So when you come to class in person today or this week, you're going to hand in your hard copy. It should have your rough draft. One side, one sheet is your rough draft. It just has all the work, what you did to build it. It's when you're working backwards. That's like the first couple. That's like Firestarter 1, all right? And there's a video on Firestarter 1 that's Firestarter 2. Firestarter 3, very, very similar. So Firestarter 1 and 3 are going to help you on your rough draft. Firestarter 4 and this video are going to help you on your final copy. Now your final copy should be what it looked like before I did any work. So your final copy is literally only going to have your equation and a chart, and that's it. So you should have 4 equations. All right. If you have any questions, email me. And thanks. That's it.